there, my name is Caitlin Bandy and this is my channel Bandy's Books, and it is Tuesday, so we're here with a Tag Tuesday video. We're going to be doing the Ringing in the New Year book tag. This tag was originally created by Bookmark Chronicles, and I'm so excited to have found this channel via this tag because this is a new to me channel. Although they're definitely not new to booktube, they have a pretty substantial following, but they have a great channel and great content, and I'm really looking forward to delving into some of their videos and just finding a little bit more about them. I was tagged in this tag by Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. Thank you so much for the tag, Alan. I'm really looking forward to getting into this. Question number 1 is the best book or series that you've read in 2023. That's tough. There were like 283 books I think that I read in 2023. So narrowing it down to just one book or one series is always a little bit tricky. But at this moment, I think the best book that I read in 2023 was Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei Brenyah. Chain Gang All-Stars is a dystopian fiction that is set within the American industrial prison complex. It follows two women who are essentially gladiators in a death match scenario, and the two of them fall in love and are trying to survive together, and it's just really interesting. I felt like it was such a sharp critique of how things function here in the United States, and I think it was also a really sharp critique of the human fascination with violence and death and our ability to detach from people in extreme circumstances in order to not feel the injustice of the situation. Hopefully that makes sense. But it was a book that left me thinking about a lot of things. I thought it was very thematically complex. I really enjoyed the characters. I know some people are a little bit critical of the structure because there are different things that happen throughout the book, like certain people randomly pop up for short periods of time, or there's chapters that are interspersed from different characters that don't necessarily all pay off towards the end. But I still found it really, really well written. I thought actually that the different chapters that were included were interesting. Just overall, I thought that this was a book that could really challenge one's perceptions, make you think about your humanity and think about how you perceive people in different situations than your own. So fantastic read. I'm sure that that's going to be probably my best book of 2023. Question number 2, authors that you've discovered this year that you would like to read more from. Again, I read 283 books. I'm gonna say probably the vast majority of them were from authors that I was reading for the first time, whether they were debut authors or they were just authors that, was my first time getting to them. Off the top of my head, I know that I read Sadiqa Johnson for the first time. Her writing was fantastic. I would love to read her book, The House of Eve, which recently released. Again, Nana Kwame Adjei Brenyah, my first time reading him. I would love to read his book, Friday Black. I read Notes on an Execution by Danya Kafka. That was my first time reading Kafka. I would love to read more of her work. I read Bunny by Mona Awad, my first time reading books by Awad. I enjoyed that, even though it was kind of like a hallucination or a fever dream. And I actually have 2 more books by Awad on my TBR now, so I will hopefully be reading those soon. Zulfa Katouh is another author that I read for the first time this year. She wrote As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. That was one of my absolute favorites of the year. I think that's probably number 2 on my list of favorites in 2023, and so I would love to read whatever she publishes again in the future. Number 3 is the best book turned movie or TV adaptation in 2023. I'm gonna be really honest, I don't watch a lot of TV or movies, so I don't actually have any answer for this question. I know that a ton of books were turned into movies and TV series, and that's very exciting. I'm super, super excited to see authors doing really well. Obviously, they hopefully get a decent payout when, movie or TV is buying the rights to their books. So that's just generally exciting for me, but I don't have a specific one where I read the book and then watched the production. Question number 4, have your reading habits changed at all this year? And have you gotten into any new genres? I don't think that my reading habits have really changed all that much. I think I still pretty much do the things that have always worked for me. I usually have a couple books going at the same time, like one audiobook, one physical book, and then I'll have a book that is loaded into my phone in case I need something to read on the fly. And I still prioritize reading in the ways that I've done in the past, and that continues to work for me, so I haven't really seen a need to change it. However, I have gotten into some new genres, or not necessarily gotten into new genres, but just gotten more into genres that I didn't read a ton of previously. So this year I definitely delved into horror much more than I have in the past. And I also have been reading a lot more literary and experimental fiction than I ever did before. I don't think that I actually really even knew what experimental fiction was prior to this year. And, it's been kind of a joy exploring the literary fiction genre. Some of those reads are really challenging, And you know, some of them I definitely don't get, but it's been kind of cool. And I feel like that genre exposes you to a lot more international publications. So it's been making me aware of authors that I hadn't heard of before. Number 5 is your favorite ship or new character in 2023. I don't read romance at all. It's my least favorite genre. So I usually don't actually have characters that I ship, but now thanks to Chain Gang All-Stars, which you can see is right behind me, I thoroughly ship Loretta and Hamra. Question number 6, have you started planning your TBR for 2024 and how many books do you plan to read? So yes, I have started planning my TBR for 2024 to some degree. I don't plan like all of the books that I'm going to read for the entirety of 2024 because I like to be able to be flexible for like readathons that come up and buddy reads and stuff like that. And I tend to theme out individual months. For January, I have the majority of my TBR planned out. I have like a little bit of space for mood reading, but the majority of my TBR is pretty concrete. And then when I get closer to February, I'll plan out February. So I kind of plan it out a month at a time. As for how many books I plan to read, my goal for 2024 is going to be about 200 books. I think I shall easily make that goal. I'm not too worried about getting 200 books in. I actually expect to surpass it. I just don't want to set it so high that I can't accomplish it in case, you know, life gets a little bit hectic. Question number 7, will you participate in any reading challenges or readathons? I'm already participating in one readathon over here on booktube for January, and that is the TBR-a-thon hosted by Leandra, the TBR Zero. I am super excited about that one. This has like a bunch of different games basically, and the games are designed to help you clear books off your shelf. And as you can see, I have big shelves behind me and lots of books to clear off. I think like probably 50% of the books here are not read and 50% are books that I've decided to keep permanently. So I have quite a few to move through, and that's not even all of them. That's just what you can see here on the camera. So I need all the TBR motivators that I can get. Question number 8, any New Year's resolutions or goals? So I have an entire video talking about my goals for reading and for my YouTube channel, which you can find up here if you want to hear about that in detail. But outside of those, like in my personal goals, my goals for this year are to focus on the things that I need to do for my health. I deal with a chronic illness, and so maintaining my health takes a little bit more work sometimes, and I have to be a little bit more dedicated to it. So I'm gonna be working on eating healthy for me. I don't go on any kind of specific diet, and this isn't like anything to do with body image or anything like that. It's just to maintain my physical ability to get through my days. I am going to try to be better about getting in my yoga every morning. This is something that really helps me with chronic pain, and it's something that I'm usually fairly consistent about, but when I tend to get stressed out, it tends to fall out. So I'm working on being more consistent about that. I'm also going to be working on journaling. I have never really had great success with journaling. I think in the past, because I've tried to do it on a daily basis, and I get really like fed up if I don't do it every single day. I feel like I have to go back and catch up for all the days that I missed, or like if I make a mistake, it makes me want to start the whole thing all over. So instead of trying to do it on a daily basis, I'm gonna actually just try to do it on a weekly basis. I got 2 really cool journals recently. One is Michelle Obama's journal that was inspired by her book Becoming, and it asks you a lot of questions that cause you to think about your own life and reflect on some of the things that have happened to you and your motivations and whatnot. And then I have another one that's like a gratitude and planning journal, but it kind of focuses more on a macro scale instead of a micro scale, which is something I think I would really benefit from. I tend to like get fixated on like micro stuff and then sometimes lose the macro picture. So I think both of those I'm gonna try to sit down on like Sunday or Monday every week and you know, fill those in. So hopefully that'll be a more maintainable practice for me. Another goal that's really important to me for 2024 is for Oz to go home and visit his parents. I think I've mentioned on this channel many times, but Oz's family lives in Angola, which is close to South Africa, and it's about a 40-hour flight to get there and a 40-hour flight to get back. So 2 full days of traveling each way, and it's a very pricey trip. We've been working really hard and saving up because his parents are getting a little bit older, and we want to make sure that he is able to get home at least fairly regularly to visit them. So that is definitely one of the really important goals for this year. Other than that, I think I'm going to be looking at buying a car in a few months, which is pretty exciting. I have had my current car since 2009, and it is been an amazing car, but it's at the end of its life cycle. It's like on 200,000 miles and on its very last leg. So, you know, another goal is to buy another car in a couple months. So I think that's pretty much everything. I don't have any other really concrete personal goals here. So that's the end of this tag video. I really enjoyed this little look forward into 2024 and a brief look back at 2023. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know, have you planned out your whole TBR for 2024? Or do you do it like I do, where you plan every single month a different theme? Or do you just pants it the whole year long? Tell me all about your plans. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell so that you never miss a video, and that way we can see each other again soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.